Hello, hello.
Hello, Ralf. How are you?
I am fine, Martin. How are you?
I'm doing well. So I am excited to talk about today's topics. But first, before we get into what we're going to be discussing,
Yeah.
let's do a customary wristwatch check. So why don't you start it off? What are you wearing today?
All right. Today I am wearing my Tissot PRX 80 Powermatic, so the automatic version with the blue dial.
With a nice waffle
Tissot
pattern.
Yes, with the waffle pattern. It's a beautiful watch, right? I mean, it wears well. Integrated bracelet for the price. Paid 1,800 dirhams for it, so it was a really good deal from a friend.
Yeah.
So, yep, I love it. It's a
So
great
I have
everyday
had
watch.
both the big size and the small size in blue.
Oh.
I had none of them were Powermatic though; they were both quartz. I think I paid a little 1,000 dirhams for the big one, or 1,200 and 1,000 dirhams for the small one, right around there, both, which is a fantastic deal. I felt. However, once again, I make the my main issue, of course, is that date window. If it didn't have a date window, 1,000% I would keep it. And the date window just looks at me wrong, and that's my only. But I think it's a fantastic watch for a fantastic price. And if you're not date window averse, you can't do better. I mean, the only thing that that even compares, I would say, to the Powermatic would be the Hamilton Khaki Field.
Yeah,
true. And that one's double the price almost.
Yeah, and it's
right?
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
It's roughly the same price, but the problem is you can find the Tissot's cheaper. So you can get good deals. The Hamilton's not so great, so you're looking at probably 2,000 dirhams for the Hamilton. Yeah. But then the Powermatics you can get, I think I've seen them the cheapest for 1,500 or so dirhams at Rivoli with some massive discount. They once had 40% off with the Fasa card.
When you're lucky, you get some certain special discounts with special, if you have the right loyalty program, loyalty card, or it's Eid or some other celebration, then you can get some super deals sometimes.
So it's ridiculously good how good you can get an automatic. I mean, it's just an ETA movement still.
Yeah. See what I think this Tissot Powermatic, or especially this PRX does, and also the other Tissots like the Gentleman, for example, that looks like more or less like a Datejust, right? Beautiful watch, beautiful dial, has also the Powermatic 80 movement, but even with the silicone hairspring. So it's just incredible technology, and I think they kill lots of these micro brands to a certain extent. Value for money,
wise, and this is what I'm saying.
When you think, wow, you get such good quality stuff.
Yesterday, I was, I had these inklings where I almost pressed the button buy now on something, and yesterday the target of attack was the Baltic titanium blue Aquascaf.
That's a lovely watch. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's a great watch, 710 euros. Free shipping to UAE, plus that we have, of course, paying the VAT, which is not going to be much on that, a couple hundred dirhams. But the point is, for that price, you can get a Hamilton, you can get a Tissot, all Swiss-made, all with Swiss-made movements.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're still using the Miota movement in the Baltic. They say it's assembled in France, but who knows where the parts are coming from. It's a cool watch, it is, but...
Yeah, but I think now that these bigger brands have upped their game, especially in the entry-level luxury range, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to compete, I think, with some of the micro brands. So I do understand they are offering usually different designs. And of course, they have only a very, very small number of watches that they have to then sort of all the production, this research, development costs, design costs, they have to be paid for by that small amount of watches that they can sell, the 200, 300, whatever is the amount of watches that they produce. So it's tough for micro brands.
It is.
But now that
we'll discuss micro brands in a different episode. I think that's a very good topic as well. But anyway, point of story, another big not micro brand, but cheap watches, since we're on it, that I really like that recently came out, that I was looking at yesterday, was called the Hamilton Jazzmaster Performer. Stupidest name ever. But the watch itself looks great. It looks very much like an Omega Globemaster.
See, if you don't want to spend that much, you can go for the Jazz Bachelor.
I'm not familiar with this one.
The jazz, before you get the master, you have to do a bachelor degree, and then you maybe you can go to the jazz PhD.
That's the jazz PhD would be the top. Yes, no, of course. Yeah. The jazz bachelors. But not only is it a jazz master, but it also says performer, and I'm like, at that point, can you throw in any more stupid names? The jazz master performer in Aqua Blue or something. I don't know, but it's a good looking watch, and probably the name would keep me from buying it because I'm stupid like that. But the watch itself, irrespective of the name, looks good.
Once you wear the watch, you don't have to tell anybody.
Yeah. What are you wearing?
Right?
Oh, jazz master.
Just wear. Hey, just tell them. Hey, look, I wear this Hamilton. End of story.
Yeah. It could be. And there was I don't know if you ever watched Top Gear. I'm assuming you did.
Yeah.
There was a saying by Jeremy Clarkson, and it was, if you have to explain the name, it's not cool. the name should speak for itself. And the example that he gave was, surprisingly, when I drive the Ford Focus ST, and he said, you have to explain to people because what do you drive? A Ford Focus. Is that a cool car? Not really. But it's ST. Wait, it's the performance version, and so on and so on, right? The car's name should stand for itself. So the equivalent, if you say, I drive a Golf, a Golf GTI. Well, you can just say I drive a Golf, and it's fine.
Yep.
Nobody's going to care. Golf GTI makes it cooler, but you don't have to say it's a GTI. The Golf is already a cool standalone car. But as soon as it becomes like the Ford Focus or the Fiesta, you have to start doing some explaining that, no, wait, it's not that one. It's the better one, I promise.
You have to start somewhere, right? And I think Ford has in general started with the ST as a comparison to like a GTI, which is already like everybody knows it. It's like how do you call these names that like Xeroxing for copying or Kleenex for, there's a name for words that become.
Yes, it's just called the core competency. Basically the core competency of or you can call it I meant USP.
I meant when actually a product name becomes the name for
synonymous for
a
the
brand
other
name.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this is what we call a core competency, right? So Google is a core competency because you would use it as a search engine, right? You would say, it doesn't matter if you're drinking a Pepsi, you still call it a Coke.
Yeah, that's true.
Because their core competency is this. This is what they're doing. The problem was, of course, Ford didn't do this. Right? They weren't very good at these naming things. Yeah. And on top of this, they kept switching their names, which we see a lot in the lesser known watchmakers. They don't have these histories, right? For instance, GMT. GMT has been GMT since 1953, and it's been the same thing ongoing, right? Yeah. And this is how Golf has done it. Your Volkswagen, Golf GTI. It's been a Golf GTI since it's originally debuted. Meanwhile, Ford has switched their name for their performance models 19,000 times, and nobody remembers what the latest one was.
I think GTI is not. I think it's not somehow registered as a brand or as a mark or whatever market. So I think Peugeot had also GTI versions, right?
Peugeot has a GTI. Yes. So there's a couple out there. It's technically it just means Grand Touring Injection.
Focus. What it originally Ford could have probably just called it GTI. And then everybody would have known that's the pocket rocket version of it.
Exactly. Right. So anyway, all right, cars aside, what am I wearing today? Exactly. We'll get into it. Something that needs no introduction, no explanation. It is the Rolex Explorer 36 millimeter.
Ooh, okay.
I've been wearing this watch, I think, for the last about a week now. I haven't taken it off. And which is funny when you get to that, you get into a zone with one watch.
Mm.
It's nice, especially if it's not one of your, newest pieces. And then you find some spark, and then all of a sudden you just go with that for a week. It's a nice feeling
when you just fall in love again, right? That's nice.
Exactly, and it just shows you, wow, this is such a cool watch. So
nice.
So that's what I've been wearing for
this
quite
is the
some
current version, the current model.
The current version, 36 millimeter, the 124-270. A lot of people don't like it because it's small, right? It's not even 36 millimeters. It's actually 35 and a half roughly. Bracelet tapers from 19 down to 14 millimeters, which is nuts. 14 millimeter taper is absolutely tiny. But for some reason, it oozes this vintage aesthetic without it being vintage, right?
They're
not trying
I had the two-tone version of that watch, 36 millimeters,
Yes.
for a few weeks. I was always split because of the size, because my wrist is a bit flatter, so a bit broader than yours. So for me, I felt always it's like just a tad too small, just like a 1 or 2 millimeters too small. So I was like,
well,
but,
you had the 39, now you have a 40.
Yeah, but I must say, I mean, everybody you ask when you wear this watch, they think, no, it's fine, it works, it's okay.
The guy
it's
that I bought this from sold it because he said it was too small. So the guy that I purchased it from specifically said he wore it twice, and he couldn't wear it. He felt it was too small.
Yeah.
And when I bought it from him, he was wearing a Nautilus, like 1 millimeter. That's 42, the big one.
That's the problem. If you have a collection and you have different sizes and mostly bigger watches, then every time you switch to the 36, you go like, ugh.
Exactly the same thing. So I was at one point wearing subs. My sub almost exclusively. My sub, my Speedmaster. And then when I first looked at the JLC Reversos, I looked at my wrist and I was like, what's going on here? And it took me a while to get used to the visual heft of not having a big chunky watch, right? It's an acquired taste, I would say, smaller watches.
But I think that the tapering of the bracelets is one of the things that makes most of the Rolex watches so much more comfortable. And I wish that my Seamaster 300, for example, would have a tapered bracelet to a certain extent.
I mean, honestly, I look at the new
through, and you think
the Seamasters, the one that you have, the bracelet, and I feel that this is the old generation. If you look, if we compare, because this is a professional line for Omega, if we look at the professional line in terms of the Speedmaster, with the 3861 movement in 2021, 22, whenever it was released, they totally redid the bracelet. My Speedmaster is the old bracelet, which is very, very similar to the one you have. And I would say that is the same generation. So sneakily, I'm thinking in my mind, there will be a new Speedmaster coming, and they will incorporate Seamaster. Sorry, yes, a new Seamaster coming with the style of bracelet from the Speedmaster. I think and hope. And if it came out, and if they made it no date, I would be first in line.
There are some no date versions, right? Yeah,
there are, but they're the bigger ones, and that's kind of my issue. Is I was looking. There's one that's amazing. Again, there's a titanium one with a black dial. This is not the Necton that we spoke about before. This is a full titanium case with a black dial. And no date, but 42 millimeters.
Oh, yeah.
So, sorry, 43.5. 42 is the regular one. 43.5 is the bigger one.
Wow.
So it's a larger size.
That could be a bit,
It is. Because 42 I can still pull off. I've seen it. I've tried it. It looks decent. Omega generally doesn't. They make their watches wearable. Like my Speedmaster 40 is not actually, or 42 is not actually 42. It wears like a 40.
Right. Well, that's nice. So, I think it's. I don't have a Speedmaster, though. I should. I think have one, but I don't. Only have a Seamaster, and my old Seamaster from the 70s, which is also.
You know what I could see you wearing, right? Just by judging by your persona, I could see you having the Moonshine Gold Speedmaster. I think that would be entirely within your
Bling Master
personality. So maybe next time.
Yeah. I think I need to, as we say in Germany, I still need to knit a few pullovers before I can do that.
Yes, I think. The price is something like what they're going for, 40. Durham wise, I think if it's 120 or something.
Yeah,
they're not cheap.
No,
they're
not
pricey.
gold on it.
So I was watching RJ from Fratello. He just yesterday posted a video about his 3 gold watches. And of course, one is the Speedmaster. And he was saying roughly, I think they're trading now around 40,000 euros.
Wow.
Is the Chrono 24 price, because they're discontinued now. So.
Man, yeah. I mean, it's always a bit of a challenge if you have just the same watch in gold, and then it's just twice the price or 3 times the price or 5 times the price in this case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously with a bracelet, there's a lot of gold, right?
A lot of gold.
It's not like the two-tone versions of certain, like the Speedmasters where you have not much gold, but still the bracelet is very expensive. Just I just know that from my Seamaster, which is a two-tone version. I bought it on the rubber strap. It's the difference back then between the watch with the rubber strap and with the two-tone bracelet was 12,000 dirhams.
Yep.
And that's
for
a lot.
Just the bracelet.
Yeah, just the bracelet. So that's and
Which is
as I said,
insane.
it's like the 5 links or something, and there's only this small links actually in gold. But so I don't know. It was just insane. So I thought, no. I eventually got the steel bracelet only for it because I wanted to have also a bracelet as an option, which is of course much cheaper. And it works sort of, but of course I would have loved to. But I think
you could also sell the bracelet. If it's stainless, you'll be able to sell it much easier. Because let's say tomorrow you say, you know what, I don't like this bracelet. I'm going to sell it.
You can.
There's going to be a line of people who bought theirs on either the NATO or the rubber that want that bracelet.
Yeah, exactly.
And they will easily give you 2,500 dirhams, 3,000 dirhams for it, and you will be roughly almost broken even.
Yeah,
so
true.
Now try doing that with a two-tone bracelet that costs 13,000 dirhams. It's never going to happen. Nobody's going to buy that.
No, that's and no discounts on accessories like that.
On accessories, exactly. I've tried it 1,000 times, and they always tell me the same thing.
No, it's annoying.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So today's topic.
Chat.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get into it.
You're the first.
What are we talking?
So I'm going to roast you. So that our listeners know a bit more about you, without going to.
But not
too
just
private,
not just me. We will do both of us.
Yeah.
So
you can roast me
Ralf
later then.
Exactly. So Ralf will ask me questions first, and they will be quick fire questions. I have not seen or heard Ralph's questions.
No, he hasn't.
And in return, afterwards, I will ask him my questions that I have prepared. He has also not seen my questions. So these will be genuine off the cuff.
So if there are questions, if there are questions repeating, then that's because we don't know each other's questions. So maybe he asked me exactly the same questions that I will ask him. Maybe not. We will see. So anyhow, the rules are...
I just wanted to mention, well, hold on. I just wanted to mention one more thing, is that hopefully through this process, the reason we're doing this is that not only do Ralf and I get to learn about each other a little bit more, but you as the listener could learn a little bit about us, about our tastes, our preferences, etc.
Exactly.
So go ahead, Ralf.
So then you can ask the listener, maybe know if you can trust us, or if you think like, no, these guys have strange opinions. I don't care.
Yes.
Or he's like, yeah, exactly.
We are both strange people, so it's not a secret.
Yeah. And of course,
we have weird taste.
And Martin and me don't know each other very well. So we only know each other for about 4 or 5 weeks, basically.
We knew each other for 5 days, I think, prior to starting the podcast. Is that correct?
We don't live in the same emirate even here. So that means we only see each other in person once a week maximum, right?
Exactly.
So, so that's also a journey for us, and you're on the journey with us, for us to know each other as well. So let's see. We will see how that goes. Right. So answer as quickly as you can, or short, brief, concise as you can. If it's a one-word answer, great, because I have 50 questions asked here. But if you want to expand on it, half a minute or so, but don't go overboard.
Yes.
Okay. So. Starting in the beginning, and they are all scrambled around. So let's see. First question. What was your first watch?
The first real watch or first fake watch, so to speak?
First
watch. Any watch. I recall a long time ago, I must buy. There was some Lego watch that I saw in a little box, and that was my first watch.
Okay. What was your last acquisition?
My last acquisition was the Pelagos FXD, which has since been sold.
Next question was, what was the last watch that was sold? The same that
the Pelagos FXD, the last that I bought.
All right. Did you ever?
So, by the way, dear listener, you have been on the journey with us for a few weeks, and I have both sold a Pelagos 39 and an FXD in that time, bought and sold. So, go ahead, Ralf.
Did you ever regret selling a watch?
No, never.
Okay, so then never. Interesting. Did you buy watches that you wish you haven't?
Yes, absolutely, all the time.
Which watch brand do you hate?
Hublot.
Really?
Richard Mille.
Okay.
The new
I really
Hublot
went
lines,
like hate with a vengeance,
the
or as a strong
vintage-looking.
word.
the classic Fusions, the new ones that they just released, I kind of like them, but I also feel like I'm ashamed to like them.
Okay, so what's your favorite watch brand?
Rolex.
Which watch would you warn everyone from buying?
Probably Hublot, something along those lines. Something that has street cred, but no actual horological value. That's what I try to warn people against.
Okay.
Fashion watches, so to speak.
Good. Is there a watch that you would save for very special occasions?
No. I think watches should be worn all the time.
Speedmaster or Daytona?
Speedmaster.
Do you have more than 10 watches?
No. 9 currently.
What would be your one watch collection?
Rolex Explorer, the one that I'm wearing.
Oh, okay.
It just does everything. It does everything. You can swim in it. You can dress it up. It's perfect.
Okay. Besides watches, which accessory is a must for you?
Probably my watch box.
Does HAQ mean anything to you?
HAQ? No.
Okay.
Does it? Is it supposed to? Tell me, what is it?
High accuracy quartz.
Oh, no.
Okay. Have you ever really used a chronograph to time something?
Yes, I have. So on my Speedmaster and on my G-Shock, I time things all the time. From cooking to I have in my classes, I'm doing the students are doing presentations right now, and their 10-minute time limit. I make sure to wear a chronograph to time them. I've also used a dive bezel to time them as well.
Interesting. I realized when people say like, hey, you can do that on your phone, but every time you use it on your phone, then, you know, if it's something longer, then your phone's locked again and you need to want to press the stop button and then you have to unlock and where am I?
Yeah,
so
it's not
actually,
worth it.
it's not too bad with them. Anyhow, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I was not supposed to talk anything, just to
fine.
babble around. Anyhow, so next question. Name 3 independent watch brands.
Let's start with the Baltic. We were just talking about Baltic. Rolex technically is an independent. Oris is an independent.
Okay.
Rolex we've discussed is because technically it is the a group, but
yeah,
really
accuracy is overrated. Yes or no?
Yeah, I would say so. Yes. Once again, it depends. If you're wearing your watch every single day and you only wear one watch, then it will start losing or gaining time. But in our cases, if you have multiple watches, half of them are dead anyway. You wear it for 1-2 days, it'll be fine during those 2 days.
Yeah. Precious metal or complication?
Depends. One word answer.
Okay. Which luxury brand, non-watch, is your favorite?
What do you mean?
Which luxury brand, which is not a watch brand, is your favorite?
Okay. Louis Vuitton.
Ooh. So how long do you spend in front of your wardrobe in the morning?
I have my wife calls it a outfit, or what do you call it? Basically, I wear the same thing every single day. Let's put it that way. I had 15 white shirts. I have 3, jackets that look exactly the same. And I'm not the kind of person that just wears the same thing. So no, I spend seconds in front of my wardrobe.
So how long do you spend in front of your watch box in the morning?
Ooh, that's tough. I've literally tried on watches before. I said, it just doesn't go. Not my vibe today. I put it back. The problem is you have to wind and set it before you try it on, which is also a waste of time. But yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay. Give it a go. Okay.
Am I going to give it a go? I would say probably five minutes.
So longer than in front of your wardrobe.
10 times longer than I take to get ready, yes.
Okay. Is a power reserve of 38 hours sufficient?
Yes.
Moon phase, yes or no?
Depends. Are we talking a dive watch or are we talking a dress watch?
General question. General.
Depends.
Moon phase. Okay. What is the most useless complication in your opinion?
Tourbillon.
Okay.
I mean, once again, if we're talking wristwatches, tourbillon by definition has no function.
Yep.
The minute repeaters, they sound awesome. I love them. All calendar complications are cool. Chronographs are cool. Rattraprantes, Reserve de Marche. All of these are cool. But once again, tourbillons are pointless.
Okay. What's your favorite car brand?
I would say Volkswagen, and that includes the Volkswagen AG. So mostly Volkswagen Audi.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a broad. I mean, so Seat.
By the way, this Ford is my first non-Volkswagen car.
You mean Seat and Skoda, mostly.
I like Seat, Skoda, Volkswagen, and Audi. Those four. I'm not going to go into Bugatti and But anyway, point of my story.
Ducati,
this is Ford
Porsche.
that I have is my first non-Volkswagen brand car.
Your favorite watch model?
Watch model in general, probably I would say the Submariner.
Okay. Have you ever gifted a watch?
Yes. Has it gone well? No. I gave my wife an Oris cotton candy and she sold it.
Well, yep, it happens.
She said it was too big for her wrist, which
happened to me as well. But I'm not supposed to talk about that. Okay.
Yes, we'll leave that.
Right. Date or no date?
No date. Never, ever, ever.
Okay. What was the most expensive gift you have ever made?
Given? I would say 7,000 dirhams.
Okay.
The thing is with gifts, you never quite know.
It's not about it's not the value.
This was the Oris.
I meant what it was. Yeah. Okay. It was the watch.
This was the Oris, the Oris that I mentioned before, and I'm glad I would go more. So it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
And once again, my wife wants the Wisdom Perpetual with the candy pink dial. If I found that, it would probably be 30K, and I probably would buy it. I probably would gift it to her. So it's just I know what she wants, and this one was a questionable whether she would like it or not was up in the air. So I didn't do anything higher.
You win some, you lose some, right?
Exactly. I mean, theoretically, I would say gift. This is a blind gift.
Okay.
I've gifted things when my wife was there and she tried it on and said, okay, I like it. And then we bought it. But this was the one time she hasn't. Wasn't even there.
All right. What's your favorite cuisine?
I'm going to answer this with a generic seafood. Generally, if it's seafood, I love it.
Beer or wine?
Draft beer over bottled beer. Wine at home over bottled beer.
Okay. Red or white?
So if I'm in a pub, I would never get wine.
Red or white?
If there's red or white, white wine. Absolutely.
How many G-Shocks do you own?
Just one at the moment. But how many have I owned? Infinite. The limit does not exist.
Okay. What is your favorite music genre?
That's a tough one. Generally, I would say I like currently I'm listening to like chill electronic music. So basically like lounge, so to speak, EDM, but like the slow, chill stuff because I don't like too upbeat music.
Okay. What was your weirdest watch experience, but in a short answer?
Weirdest watch experience. When I was trying to buy my JLC Reverso, and I went into the boutique, and the lady told me there was a massive scratch on the front, on the metal of the front of the dial, right above the dial, and the lady told me it's like that because it's handmade.
No, that's weird.
And I was like, "That you're such a liar." That's so not. I couldn't believe she would try to pull that off to make the sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Microbands, yay or nay?
I'm going to have to go with nay for me, just because of the discussion that we had a moment ago. Things that exist for the same price point, I think, are slightly better.
Okay. So you do have a favorite microbrand?
So I've nearly pulled the trigger
Baltic.
1,000 times on Baltic.
Good. What's your favorite vacation spot?
I like staycations. So it depends. Most of the time we like staying around here. Fujairah, Fairmont. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. We've gone there a number of times. I can't even count. And if we do go overseas, I would say my favorite place is the Buddha Bar in Prague.
Oh, okay. I've been there.
It's a fantastic hotel. Unbelievably. Just the location, everything is just perfect.
Oh, Prague is amazing. That's true. Okay. Right. Where are we? I lost my spot here. Okay. What's your favorite actor?
I have a few, but
the favorite. You have
one.
to choose one.
Generally, we just watched a movie just the other day with him in it. Adrian Brody is one of my favorites. Generally, if he's in something, I will watch it. Tall, skinny guy. He's in all the Wes Anderson movies. And the movie that we just saw recently was called Ghosted. Which it just came out, I think, on Friday. Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
So I'm not going to give anything away, but it was a good movie. And, it's rare that we have the time to watch a 2-hour movie, but we watched that all the way through.
He's an Oscar winner, right? Adrian Brody.
Yeah, he's an Oscar winner. Absolutely.
Great actor.
He was in The Pianist. The Pianist was his very serious role, but I prefer him in his comedy roles because he's a funny guy, but he doesn't try to be funny.
Okay. Last movie you watched in the cinema?
Mario. Just this weekend, I saw the new Mario movie with my daughter.
Super Mario.
I liked it. Good. Yeah, Super Mario.
What was your first car?
My first car, it was a terrible piece of crap. It was a 1998 Chevy Malibu with an 4-speed automatic transmission. And it was literally the biggest piece of garbage. I think it was totaled out mechanically when it was less than 10 years old. Okay. Everything was wrong with this car. It was such a piece of crap.
Yeah, I think we all had some of these when we were young. Anyhow, well, what your current car is, we already know because you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
right?
the
we can
Focus
skip
ST.
that. Manual or automatic?
Manual, absolutely. And I'm still, the reason I drive the Focus ST is because it's in UAE. There are no manuals available. There was when I was buying my car, there was maybe 3 or 4 on the market, and that was it. Yeah. Being the Opel Corsa or the Opel Astra OPC, the Focus ST, and I think the Toyota GT86. Those are the only 3 options I could find in manual.
I remember whenever I went home and drove my mom's car back then, and it was an Opel Corsa with a 60 horsepower 3-cylinder engine. Yeah. But it was manual, and I was so excited to drive.
Manual is so fun.
Yeah. Anyhow, box and papers or naked?
Box and papers with hang tag. I don't know why nobody cares about the hang tag. The hang tag has to be there.
Okay. All right. So, sorry for that. What's your grail watch?
I would say it's a Day-Date 36, yellow gold champagne dial.
Champagne dial. Oh, that's rather
the president. That is the president
bling,
watch.
Bling. Okay, so not green or chocolate or
it has to
onyx
be
dial.
The 36 millimeter with the champagne dial.
Okay. Fluted or smooth bezel?
Fluted, absolutely. There's a meme that shows who was it? Anne Hathaway with no eyebrows. And it basically was saying that with the fluted bezel, she had eyebrows. With the smooth bezel, she was missing her eyebrows. Oh. It's just something doesn't quite look right without the fluted bezel.
What's your favorite dog breed?
Honestly, I couldn't care. However, I have a Yorkie, so I guess I obligatory have to say Yorkie. But I'm not. Yeah, once again, it was an accident. We got the Yorkie, so it has nothing to do with preference.
Okay, and that's the last question now for you. What is your next planned watch purchase?
So I would like to try the Black Bay 54. I think the Tudor Black Bay 54 is on my radar. And whether I buy it or not will be an entirely different story. But I think that's what I'm shooting for next.
All right. So that was it then.
That's it?
Oops,
wow, okay.
Sorry, I just bumped into the microphone.
So
again.
we do have a bit of overlap in our questions, for sure.
Okay.
So I'm going to...
well, you survived, so that's good.
I did.
So I hope I do too.
All right, so let me open up my notes here. So a lot of overlap in the questions, but
Okay,
I do have
no
some that
problem.
are slightly different, but the style of it is still the same.
Yeah.
So where are you from?
I'm from Germany, Rhineland
City.
area.
There you
Nice.
go.
Hmm.
All right. What age did you want, not buy, but realize you wanted your first watch?
That must be. I wanted the watches from when my grandfather passed away. I think I was about 14, 15. That's when I wanted
Okay.
his watches
Okay.
as a,
And what
as a
was your first
keepsake.
watch?
My first watch that I can remember was a Casio, and I remember it very, very nicely. It could make alarms in 12 different musical sounds.
Wow.
It was amazing. I mean, I must have really robbed the people's patience because I needed to play all 12 songs to everybody that
Of
didn't
course,
want to
naturally.
listen. So,
What was your first serious watch?
my first serious watch was, well, serious, it depends. I think my first serious watch was a multiple $100 watch, right? So was
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a preference. Whatever you
yeah,
feel is serious. That's why I use the word serious.
yeah, was a Citizen perpetual calendar, Echo Drive. So it's a quartz watch,
Quartz.
chronograph with perpetual calendar. I still have it.
No, and that's the next question. Do you still have it?
Yeah.
So what year was this?
That must have been 2007.
Okay.
So quite a while ago. Before that, I did have another watch that was quite serious, where I went into a jewelry store to buy it, which was also a Pulsar at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Hamilton is Pulsar now. Hamilton owns Pulsar.
Yeah, no, did do that.
At the time, it was separate.
I think
now
it was
Hamilton
Seiko
has
at the
acquired
time,
Pulsar.
or so.
Yeah, Seiko used to own it, and now Hamilton acquired it.
Anyhow, yeah, 10%.
Yes, correct. All right. What is your newest watch?
My newest watch is the Pelagos 39.
Okay. What's the watch you last sold?
My Black Bay GMT Pepsi.
Two-tone?
No,
the Pepsi. Okay. You kept the Pepsi, right? Or sorry, you kept the two-tone.
yes.
What's your favorite watch in your collection?
Tough. Usually, that's a longer answer. Usually, it's the one of the latest I got, right? But in regards to favorite, I give everybody a tip now. There's an app called Wrist Check, where you can just put in all of your watches that you have, and then it will bother you every day once and ask you which watch are you wearing today. So you record your wears, and then you have all the kind of statistics about it. So I think I should check which one I wore the most. But yeah, I think at the moment I really, really enjoy the Pelagos 39 a lot. So, but it's also I'm a bit in honeymoon phase at the moment. So
one issue I had with the app is I wear multiple watches a day.
Yeah, no, they have to decide.
Exactly. So this is the problem: is I will wear one watch to work and one watch at home. So generally, and that's why I like the Explorer. That's
okay.
Okay. What is your least favorite watch in your collection?
Probably my Seiko Sumo.
Okay. What is the weirdest watch in your collection?
The weirdest.
The weirdest.
But also the most charming, I think, is my Hamilton khaki 3 time zone watch. I think it's called the Speedboat Race. I bought this watch because it has Jumeirah Beach on as a location that you can set. So you can set different locations, right, for time zones, and it has all of the locations for speedboat races. And there was one here in front of where I live, basically, not far from here, 2 kilometers, Jumeirah Beach. So that was where, and at that time I worked also for the Jumeirah Hotel Company, Jumeirah Hotels and Resorts, and so that was for me just like, perfect. I have to get this watch, and it's probably the weirdest because it's also the rarest. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody else with it.
It is a weird watch for sure. So I give you that one. What is the most beautiful watch in your collection?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think at the moment, if you ask me, it's the most beautiful watch in my collection. If you ask my wife, she will probably tell you that's the ugliest watch in my collection, and that's the Moser Heritage Dual Time.
I agree. That is the most beautiful watch.
It's
I
very
agree.
pretty.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
And you kind of got my brain ticking into Moser. There's a funky blue for sale for 40,000 dirhams at Timepiece 360.
That's a lovely one, yeah.
And I thought about it. All right. What's your ugliest watch?
I think my ugliest watch. Should have looked at my watch box there. So I think there are ugly watches in the Casio range. Ugly. But I think. Oh man.
What about your titanium square G-Shock metal titanium one?
Oh, I think that's rather pretty.
With the lines on it. It's a cool watch, one, but it's ugly. It is ugly.
Yeah, but I think
ugly in the generic sense.
No,
right?
I know. I have this Citizen. It's a Citizen satellite wave with the GPS stuff, so it actually gets the time from the satellites, which is rare. Not radio waves, but really from the GPS satellites. And I wanted it for that functionality that I always have like the atomic time at home without having to go on and switch on a computer or other device. Yeah. And it also sets its time zone automatically because it knows where on the planet it is and then sets the time zone automatically. I thought this was brilliant for traveling, and it's of course also solar powered. So all of the stuff, I got it for a great price on eBay for like $350 or something, which is amazing because these watches usually go for way, way more. But it's not a pretty watch.
Okay. No, once again, there's no need for a watch to be pretty. Ugly watches can be cool, and that's kind of the point that the reason I was asking this.
No, I have one. Oh, I have an. Oh, yeah, that's ugly. No, I have an ugly watch. Sorry, that's the real ugly one. It's a watch that I bought also for the movement. Basically, it's a Seiko with an 8F movement in it, quartz movement, about 10 or 15 seconds a year, plus minus
accuracy.
But it has this big wheel on the side. There's a big ratchet wheel that you can sort of screw a protector over, right? Which is a very weird thing. And it's used to measure, and that's the weirdest thing. This wheel turns the internal bezel. And on the internal bezel, you have a kilometer tracking. And you actually move that little ratchet wheel over a paper map. So you could check when you go, not a straight line, but you follow the road basically with your little ratchet wheel. And then you can say how many kilometers this is. If your paper map has the right standard, it has to 1 to 50,000. Otherwise it won't work, of course. But yeah, that is not only a very, very specific use case for a watch, but it's also ugly as shit because it has this very big crown there on the side, which is bigger than any pilot crown that you've ever seen. I have to show it to you. It's ugly. It's really ugly. But somehow I'll
link it in the Instagram pictures, okay? So for everything that we mentioned, I'll put a few things. Yes. We'll post it at Lume Plotters on Instagram. I will put a picture of this specific watch just so we all know what he's talking about because I also don't know what he's talking about.
My goodness, yeah. It has its charm.
All right, well, we'll post that picture.
Okay.
All right. That's all with the watch collection. Now we're going to do some quick fire.
Oops.
Favorite dial color?
Blue.
Least favorite dial color?
Least favorite, I think it's yellow.
Okay. Favorite brand? Watch brand?
Since I asked you this question, I should have prepared myself for these kind of questions as well, but I didn't. I would say, I think at the moment it's Vacheron Constantin.
Okay. Least favorite watch brand?
Is all of these Filippo Loretti movement, and these Vincenzo something, all of these
yes. Okay. Yeah,
weird brands.
What is it? The
fashion watch
the
brands.
fashion, yeah, exactly.
AliExpress rebadged
rebadged ones, exactly.
These
Daniel Wellington and so forth.
Yes, exactly, these kind of things. Yeah.
All right, Omega or Rolex?
Rolex.
Okay, let's see if you're right. Speedy versus Daytona.
Daytona.
Okay, Sub versus Seamaster.
I probably would go Sub.
Sea Dweller versus Blowpro.
Oh, that's tough. I think there I would go for Blowprof.
Okay, Datejust versus Globemaster.
Something still, I have this Globemaster that I really like, but I've never pulled the trigger on it. So I guess, and I did have a Datejust, so I think Datejust wins.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Deep Sea or Ultra Deep?
Ultra Deep.
Okay. Yeah, the new Ultra Deeps look fantastic. Oyster Perpetual or Aqua Terra?
Oyster Perpetual.
Okay. All right. I would say I agree with every single one of those, except for the Daytona. I still choose Speedy over Daytona. But all right. Divers versus chronographs.
Divers.
All right. Manual versus automatic movements.
If I had to choose, I think I would choose manual.
All right. Date or no date?
Always with a date. I have plenty of watches without date, but yes. I like my date. Yeah.
Big or small watches?
Tough. So
you have to choose. Let's say we have a 44 millimeter, 45 millimeter versus a 35, 36 millimeter. Go.
If I have to choose between a 34 and a 45, I will choose the 45.
Okay. Over the 36 or less, right? Because we want to eliminate those middle grounds, right? It's one or the other extreme. Right?
Rather go big than go too small.
So you go big. All right. Go big or go home. Independence or non-independence?
I have recently a bit of a I would favor the independence at the moment.
Okay. Micro brands or not micro brands? I guess major brands.
I think some of the micro brands do incredible things, and there are certainly a lot of the watch world is better because of the micro brands that we have. But I do also feel at the moment I am not in them. I mean, it depends. Is Moser a micro brand?
No.
With 1,200 or 1,500, 2,000 watches a year, maybe. Maybe you could call them a micro brand, basically. Independent.
I guess you could.
When are you an independent? When are you a micro brand? I don't know really what's the difference there. But I think
is FP Journe a micro brand?
Yeah, technically with like under 1,000
No, but
watches
I think micro brands they're
it's more micro.
No, micro I think refers to small companies.
Right.
So while these guys are small companies, they're still heavy hitters, right?
Yeah.
So when I think micro brands, I think startups, kind of out of their garage kind of companies.
Yeah. So what was the question? Sorry.
So if you have to choose micro brands or not micro brands?
Not micro brands at the moment.
Grail watch. What's your Grail watch?
A tough one, but I think at the moment it's a Moser as well. It's the Moser.
Okay.
And
Streamliner.
It's the Moser Streamliner in rose gold with the Vanta black dial tourbillon.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. I sent you the video, right?
Yeah. It's just amazing. I mean, that was just and it's an unachievable for me. I think a Grail watch should be something that you think in your wildest dreams you would want to have that watch.
Yeah.
And that's it at the moment.
It also has to be ludicrously weird, right? So in terms of like, would you really wear it? These are the kinds of things that you need to consider.
If somebody says you have that kind of money for a watch purchase, would you buy this watch? I would probably still think about it.
Yeah. That's the kind of,
but
if I had the 140,000 dirhams to buy the Rolex day date, I would still think about it. That's
yeah,
exactly what it
yeah,
comes. Because
exactly.
what
But
else could you buy for that money?
yeah,
Right? Quite a few things.
yeah, absolutely. But
All
yeah,
right.
this one, yeah.
Favorite watch podcast besides ours, of course.
Scottish watches by far.
Okay. Favorite watch personality on YouTube.
Favorite watch personality.
So favorite person that you like to watch on YouTube, let's say.
Okay. I should look at my watch history and look from there. But I think, I followed a lot of people on YouTube. I watched Adrian Barker from Bark and Jack from when he was just starting running around in London and drinking coffee. I even watched Archie Luxury when he was one of the few that existed.
When he was coherent.
But yeah, don't do that anymore. I think it's gotten a bit too painful to watch.
Yes, it has.
I do like also what Time and Tide is doing on that channel.
Uh-huh.
A friend of mine,
you have to choose one. Choose one.
This is doing
not
a great
1,000.
job.
You can't list all of them.
Yeah, but it's hard to choose just one.
You have to choose one. That's the rule. You said so yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. Okay. If I have to choose one, I would probably think, even though I disagree a lot of times, but I think, Bark and Jack is fine.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I like him as well. All right. Favorite watch book?
Ryan Schmidt's Wristwatch Handbook.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. I also own this. I think everyone that we know owns this book. It's a surprisingly good bargain for the size of the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you would say it's easily a $100 book, but it's actually like 50. Yeah. So it's quite cheaper comparatively. I think it's about 200 dirhams. So check it out. Yeah.
No, Ryan Schmidt is a lovely person, and when you read about his story of how he actually started to write a book about watches and his challenges to get actually the photographs for his watch, it's just amazing. Because he didn't write. This is his first book and his first watch book,
exactly.
Right? So he's I think he was in banking before, investment banking, and so he is not a person you would trust to write a book, because people are like, so which books did you write before? And it's like, none. So anyhow, but the way he describes the complications and uses a lot of incredibly great photography from multiple sources, it's just beautifully done. And I think it's also very well explained of how these complications work. So I think there's a second version due to be released soon. I mean, a revised version or maybe a follow-up to this book, which I really like. I mean, you probably also know A Man and His Watch, right?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a very different one. This is about stories.
It is.
Right? It's not about explaining complications.
So I was going to say, if I had this question, that's my favorite one. It's A Man and His Watch, written by, off the top of my head, what's his last name? Matt Hranek. And that is, once again, it's a watch you can pick up for less than 100 dirhams, and it is a fantastic book.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
All right.
So, yeah, Ryan Schmidt's book is my favorite.
What are your other hobbies besides watches?
Besides watches, it's my dogs at the moment, and it used to be car racing.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought you were going to say photography.
That is, in general, that's my hobby for a couple of weeks a year. So whenever I go on safari to Africa, and
so this is I have to agree with this. I have I also like photography, but I'm not going to be taking photos when I'm at home in the same environment that I am every single day. It just doesn't make sense. No. So I agree with you on that. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay. Nikon versus Canon. I know you shoot with neither, but
yes.
You have to choose one.
I think I would choose Canon.
Okay. I'm a Nikon guy.
Well, that was the end of the
you
Lume
shoot
plotters.
Sony, right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
All right.
I shoot Sony at the moment because I was a Minolta person before. Yeah.
Minolta is also a very good one. All right. So that's all I have for you. I didn't go into any car related questions.
Very good. Yeah.
But now let's do. How many minutes are we at? Would you mind answering that?
55.
I know you have 55. All right. Now we'll do one special thing here.
Okay.
You can choose one question out of my list, and I can choose one question out of your list to ask the opposite person to finish up everything.
Okay. Yes. I want to know what your weirdest watch is.
Oof. I honestly don't think I have any weird watches. I have had weird watches in the past, but currently in my lineup, I think the weirdest one would have to be my G-Shock, because when you look at it, it's a plain black rubber G-Shock, but in actuality, it's the GW5000U, which is the full metal insides with the screw-down case back, which no one knows what that is. Mm-hmm. So that's the only reason it's weird, I guess. Yeah. So, all right. And for you, what was your first car?
Oh, okay. The answer is my first car that I drove, or the first car that I owned?
Owned.
Okay. The first car I owned was a Nissan Cherry. Yes.
I
had it for
I think these were replaced by the Sunny, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's a cool story though. This car was sold by a garage where my dad knew the owner, and he said, "Look, if there's anything wrong with the car, he will fix it. No problem. We know the person." It was 4,400 German marks at the time, so about 2,000
Deutsche Marks.
Deutsche Marks, yeah, 2,200 euros or something. Yeah. So it was relatively cheap. It was black. It was sports wheels, alloys, had a spoiler on the back. It had a big eagle on the bonnet. It had Playboy bunnies plastered all around the car. And it had sport seats. It was actually very interesting. It had the 75 horsepower sports engine, 1.6 liter, and it drove like a dream. It was fantastic. It was a very sporty car. It was a bit ugly though. So I had to remove all of the stickers. That was my first job, to remove all of these stickers and all of the stuff. Then I learned that this car was actually being used by the brother of one of the mechanics to rob a bank.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
So it was the getaway car. Which then also explained why I was actually, as a newbie, caught out on every single police random check. They pulled me out every single time. I was never picked up in like a random police check or traffic control or something. But with that car, every single time I was being pulled out.
That's an interesting backstory for a car, for sure.
Yeah, and then it got totaled because somebody drove into the back of me and was a complete write-off. So I only enjoyed this car for like half a year. And was called, my friends called it the Vanilla Bomber, because I also pulled out of the interior of the car, about 8 of these little, this little tree.
Yeah, little vanilla smelly,
And this car,
air fresheners.
My friends claimed that they knew I was around before I was actually visible, because they could smell me first of my car, because it was it was so bad that I actually even, my clothes would smell of vanilla after driving the car. So it was a very special car. But I still remember it fondly. There might have been some
drugs hidden in there somewhere at some point that they're trying to mask the smell of.
I have no idea.
But anyway, all right, excellent. I like this series of questioning. It was nice. Okay. So once again, if you, dear listener, have any questions for us, follow us on Instagram, send us a message at Lume Plotters. You can ask us questions. We will respond in due course in the following podcasts.
And you will see all of our ugly photos on this week's
we'll put some pictures from this up for sure. Maybe we'll have a picture of Ralf and me, and then our watches or something along those lines. And a picture of Ralph's Nissan Cherry.
Yeah. So, man, this was pre-digital. I don't even know if I can still figure out where I have a photo. I'll Google a stock photo. Don't worry. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for bearing with us and listening to our live story. And we hope to catch you another
time next week. So see you then.
See you then. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.